anxiety. Okay. Look. You got me thinking if it was really worth it, putting in all of this effort just to end up less than perfect. But are not great defenses something used for our protection? Or are they just another way to force out imperfections? I guess I'm just effective, pointed in the wrong direction. The library in my head is one fucked up selection. Now children pay attention, and you'll receive attention, cause after this, I'll ask you an array of questions. Alright guys, hello. Welcome to the 40 Ounce Fridays podcast, episode 46. This week, what are we talking about? I got a few things in quick news I want to just go over really fast, and thus the term quick news. We'll do our UU retrospective for episode 19, and then we'll get into our main topic. What is the main topic? I think I've mentioned them before, but I haven't really gone into too deep a detail. But I am a part of a Yu Hakusho group on Facebook, and I kind of fucking hate it. You guys already know I have very mixed feelings about anime and manga groups on Facebook, because people will say the wildest of shits in them. But I kind of grown a little more tolerable of some of them. But the Yu Hakusho group has been going wildly out of control over the past month, saying some very outlandish shit, and today they took it a little too far for me, personally. They took it a little too far for me. And I'm just gonna go over it. I don't know why I paused so much. That's it. That's the gist of it. We're just gonna be talking about that. Some of the things they said, debunking some of the things they said, disagreeing with some of the things they said, because some of it is opinion-based, and overall, why this group kind of wavers toward, I don't really like them. There are a good amount of people in there who are very agreeable and very cool. And of course, I mean, at the end of the day, it is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. If you are listening and you are part of the group, it's not like a personal attack. It's just a lot of the shit I see is just kind of ridiculous, and I just need a way to talk about that and let that out, so why not here? And that was the whole point of making this podcast, to just talk about nerd shit and all that jazz in one wrapped up package with a bow. So let's get into it really quick with the quick news. Alright, so quick news. First bit of quick news, since it just recently happened. By the time this podcast goes up on Friday, I'm recording this on Wednesday, so kind of cool that it comes in handy like that, is this Friday, UI Goku, Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, will be an available character to purchase as DLC on Dragon Ball FighterZ for the Season 3 pass. We've known about this for a month or two now. He got announced, or teased pretty much. It was a tease announcement back when Kefla got announced officially. So we'll finally have him in there. If you've been following along with like people posting links or leaks of like gameplay footage of his skills and different features he can do on Twitter or on YouTube, of YouTubers posting about it, you already seen the crazy amount of shit he can do. But if you purchased the Season 3 pass, you get a little some extra. Not a little something extra. You get access to UI Goku 2 days early, so it's Wednesday, so today people who have the Season 3 pass should already have access to UI Goku. I got to play him last night. I have FighterZ on the Switch. Don't fucking judge me. It was a great deal to pick up the bundle for everything for it. And I don't play online a lot. I'm the type of person that can dick around and have fun in a game without needing to go so far as to play online all the time. I'm not super competitive. It's not even like a sore loser thing, unless we're talking about the CPU. It's just, that's just not the scene I'm into. I love watching that stuff though. That shit is super intense to see. But UI Goku is awesome. Getting back on topic, great fucking character. All his moves look really cool. They're really flashy. There's his combo strings, they just look really nice. All his moves and combinations and inputs, everything feels so fluid and so good. And I know a lot of people were questioning when he was dodging everyone's moves, including supports and all that shit. Was that him like auto doing that? Does that automatically happen if you don't move or don't hold block or something? Or if you hold block, or was it an input? It is an input. It's a very simple input. It's just, it's forward. I forget what button. It's forward and a button. And he'll get into kind of like a stance. You'll see it because his aura kind of shifts. And if they swing on you while you're doing that, you'll just dodge. It doesn't last like forever. So timing is involved. The one thing I learned when I was fucking around with this character in the lab, and I did a few matches against the CPU on arcade. I don't have Switch Online, so even if I wanted to go online, I couldn't. But it's because Switch Online is trash. But one thing I noticed is you have to know how to use Goku, or UI Goku, well, in order to really be busted with this character. I feel like if you're like decent at fighters, like I'm like halfway decent, I'm very okay at the game. But if you're like a solid experienced player to like a very advanced, like really, really good player, like top tiers and stuff like that, in that range, you have to know the game to be good with this character. And the more you know the game, the better you are going to use this character to a broken advantage. Because the stuff we were seeing on the videos of him just auto-dodging everything, niggas are going to be doing that online if you really know how to use him. And that's the thing, too. Also, a lot of his moves, or not a lot, but there's a few moves I've noticed, if you fuck up and, like, miss, or if they block it, or are able to dodge it or something like that, some of his moves do leave you exposed to be punished heavily. You will be punished heavily if you're just going off and using moves left and right without thinking. You're gonna fuck up, and if you fuck up, you're gonna be wide open to be punished hard. He is very punishable, from what I've observed. So he's a technical character. He's gonna be fun to pick up and use. He's gonna be, I don't want to say he's gonna be super hard to master. I don't think he will be, but it is gonna take. You're gonna have to practice, get some time in the lab to really flow with his stuff. But a lot of people are going to be auto-dodging online. I can already see it now. Don't take my word for it, like, super fully. I'm not a pro player, but we'll see how it comes, what was I going to say? We'll see how it comes when we get to that point. I don't know. It's wild. It's wild out here in these streets. So, the other bit of quick news is that Xenoverse 2, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, has shipped 6 million copies worldwide. I believe it was 6 million copies. So congrats on Xenoverse 2 doing that. I believe that's the most copies of a Dragon Ball game shipped, sold, all of that, ever. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is. I remember watching a video of people talking about like the most popular Dragon Ball games and their sales. And Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2 each had 5 million copies, so Xenoverse 2 now has 6 million. So bravo to them. Good job for that. Fix your netcode. You're probably not going to do it. Better luck next game, hopefully. But I still love the game. I still have a fun time playing Xenoverse 2. I like all the variety. I like the fun stuff I can do, dick around, the photo mode, all the additions. I like Xenoverse 2. If you don't, that's cool. We don't have to like the same shit, but it's cool. Xenoverse 2 is getting a DLC 11. We did not think a DLC 11 was coming. I mean, a few people did. There were some data leaks, some mines and stuff like that. But in DLC 10, they made it seem very like final. Like there wasn't going to be any more DLC add-ons. If you saw the little special mission fight you could do with Oob and Goku, you get the special ending where Goku goes off to train with you, your created character, your time patroller, and Oob in Supreme Kai Time is narrating like, oh, the story events of this are over, such and such and such and such, da 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 da. Thanks for playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. We'll still be doing updates here and there. So it seemed like they were going to do like the updates, like raid updates and events and other stuff. Like they were still going to be supporting the game for now, but they made it seem like DLC 10 was going to be the last DLC. There's some news of some leaks, some other info here and there, and it is officially revealed there will be a DLC 11 in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and we have a character to, I guess, commemorate or celebrate the 6 million copies shipped of the game, and that is Supreme Kai-Up Time. Supreme Kai-Up Time will become a playable character in Xenoverse 2's roster. If you don't know who Supreme Kai-Up Time is, because you haven't played Xenoverse, the Xenoverse games, or you haven't played them in a while, if you don't know who she is, Supreme Kai-Up Time is the little short Kai girl that's in the Xenoverse games. I'm sure you've seen her before. You know what I'm talking about. You know how Supreme Kai looks. Female version, like pink skin, pink hair. She's the Supreme Kai-Up Time. She pretty much controls the flow of time and the timelines and all that good shit in the Xenoverse game worlds. And is the one that created the Time Patrol. Who brought Trunks along to help lead the Time Patrol and all that good shit. That's who she is. It's weird. I've seen mixed responses about this. People are like, oh cool, Supreme Kai Time. Some people are like, who asked for this? Back and forth. I'm whatever about it. It's cool. I don't mind because I'm just like, cool, another character to the roster. And if people don't want that character, they just don't buy that character. Simple as that. Which is how I've always felt about the DLC. People get really upset about certain characters getting added or something like that. And, but it's just like, then just don't buy that DLC. I'm pretty sure you can buy characters individually too. So maybe you don't necessarily have to buy like a whole pack. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong about that because I just buy the packs. Because I like having all the characters. That's just me. Oh, look at you just chilling out. But I actively play that game. So it's not just like, oh, I buy a DLC pack and just drop it. I like actively play Xenoverse 2 a lot. And I have a fun time fucking around with it, even on offline. So for me personally, it's worth the money I put into it because I put a lot of time into it. If you don't put a lot of time into it and you're just like, oh, I'll try out the new characters and then just probably drop it within a week, I say probably don't buy it because what are you spending your money on? But anyway, we got scans, I believe, in V-Jump of Supreme Kai Time. Like, you know how they were with all the DLC scans, DLC character scans for, like, FighterZ 2. And back when Xenoverse 2 was, like, super poppin' in its, like, first year and a half. So we got the scan, we got the seer, and some of her moves. There have been translations for it. Her moves are time-based, clearly. You can see shit, like, with, like, clocks. I believe, like, one move, it said she sets up Ki Blast orbs, or she sets up, like, some kind of, like, clock shape made of ki, and after a set amount of time, it, like, fires a blast. I don't know if you have to stand in front of it the whole time before it fires, or if you can just set it and leave it, and then after a set period of time, it just automatically fires. The latter would be really cool, because imagine just setting up these key clocks, kind of like as traps around a fight, like a battlefield, and like your opponent's not paying attention, or they're just, you know, hurrying up trying to finish you off before the blast, like, gets to them. They have one where, like, ki forms around her hands, kind of like the hands of a clock, but they're like blades. There's another thing where she sets up a volley of ki blasts that fire on their own automatically after a set period of time as well. Her ultimates sound really cool. So there's a lot of shit. There's one of the ultimates I remember, it like traps you, it like stops time, it like freezes you in time, and then she fires a powerful ki blast to finish you off. And then I forget what the other one did. I have to look at the scans again. But she seems like a fun, interesting character, and I'm sure we'll get access, if not to all of her moves, then a good amount of them. She has 3 super attacks and 2 ultimates confirmed. So she has a full hearty moveset. So I'm assuming her 4th super attack is just going to be like maximum charge, or maybe like some special key charge that us, our creative fighters won't get access to, which is whatever. And then her evasive might be like something similar to Whis and the other, if not the angels and like Tora Mira, like the little vanish thing where they disappear and then they reappear. Then something generic, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they haven't revealed her evasive yet. But we also don't know if another character is coming. Usually when the DLC packs get announced, the characters come in pairs. So we should expect another character to be revealed alongside her. But usually those characters that are released in pairs have some sort of like relation to each other. Like, you know, some kind of correlation to make it make sense that they're like coming out at the same time. I believe like Dragon Ball Super Broly and Super Saiyan God Vegeta, did they come out at the... No, they didn't come out at the same time, did they? Who came out with Broly? I don't remember. But like, Ribrianne and I believe Blue Evolution Vegeta. We got Master Ultra Instinct. You know what I mean? Like they're somehow like linked. Like, oh, it makes sense that got paired. Even Majub and Android 21 had a link because they were both Majins, even though we only got base form Android 21 for some reason. Maybe we'll get Majin 21 along with Supreme Time now. I don't know. Also, there was some other stuff that was shown in the scans for free DLC updates, for the paid update, or the free updates. Some more clothes from Brawly from Dragon Ball Super, so you can make a full outfit of it. Kind of sucks that they split it up into packs, but whatever. And also, it looks like the partner customization options are getting an upgrade. Before, with the partner customization, if you don't know what that is, it was an update we got like a while back. I want to say like over a year ago now, like 2 years ago, a year and a half, something like that. But pretty much, I think it was only with your mentors. Like anyone you could be a mentor under, or a mentor, have mentor you and train you to learn the moves. You know what I'm talking about. They got a new like bar. I think it was friendship. And when you maxed it out, you could get like a team ultimate. That was when the dual ultimates came out. But you could also go to this thing called partner customization. So for any of those mentors, you could change the color of their clothing. You could change their movesets to like a pool of available skills they had, like skills that they would use, not just like, you couldn't like have fucking let's say Frieza learn the Kamehameha or some shit like that. It'd be moves within their move pool. Even some transformations, like I know Nappa, as a joke, they gave Nappa the Super Saiyan transformation on his partner customization. Fucking love that they did that. I wish they gave it to Raditz too, because then it would have been like base Super Saiyan, but he would have looked like a Super Saiyan 3. But yeah, basic stuff like that. Some people even have alternate outfits for their partner customization if you spend the TP medals. All that customization stuff costs TP medals, but easy to grind TP medals on Xenoverse 2, so it wasn't like a big deal for anyone. So that was cool. So we had that whole thing with the story mode with Fu too. That's when Fu came out. Fucking love Fu. But it looks like we won't be limited to just whoever was a mentor in the game now. It looks like they're going to add a bit more variety to it, where I don't know for sure, this is not confirmed, but by the looks of the scans, it looks like anyone can be used in partner customization now, because from the scans it showed like Gogeta Blue, Vegito Blue, Dragon Ball Super Android 17, some other people. So I doubt they would like only add it for like these 7 other characters and not just every character in the roster, because why? That'd be weird. Unless they're planning on slowly, like every like month, adding a couple more to the partner customization over time. But even then, I don't know why they would do it so slow. Don't ask me. But it looks like we'll be able to do it for everyone, so you can customize their clothing colors, their movesets, and their super souls, which is great because I love Dragon Ball Super Android 17 on Xenoverse 2, but I fucking hate his Super Soul because I don't remember what the benefit of having it was, but he can't use, I believe it's his supers and his ultimates, it might just be his ultimates, but he can't use skills until his health falls down to a certain point, and I hated that. I don't like that. So I'd like to change his Super Soul into something else and get a few moves from his like Dragon Ball Z 17 moveset, and maybe if they allow it, like his Super 17 moveset from GT, who knows? But we'll see how that goes when that update comes out. I don't think there is a release date yet, but I talked about that for a minute just because I really like Xenoverse 2. So cool that we're getting more content for it. And like I said, if you're not vibing to it, you're not vibing to it. It's all good, homie. I don't mean to shit on your disappointment of having more DLC rather than a Xenoverse 3, but I'm still cool with it. Hopefully next gen harbors in the start of finally a new Xenoverse game, because Xenoverse 2, it's 3 years old. We're still getting constant support for it, so we'll see how that goes. And so we're gonna move on to the Yu Yu retrospective now. So, Yu Yu Hakusho, episode 19, Suzaku, the leader of the beast. We are finally reaching the peak point of the Four Saint Beast arc, the whole Maze Castle thing. We've been on this for about a month, maybe a little longer than a month. Because what, episode 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So yeah, this is week 5 of the whole thing. So yeah, we're on episode 19, and we did a double episode to start it off. How about that? That's crazy. So last episode, Hiei fucking finessed Seiryu, like, effortlessly. I don't think we need to recap that too deeply. Seiryu was like, Ice Dragon, Ice Dragon, Ice Dragon. Hiei said, that's cute, and cut him like 16 to 18 times, and left him exploded and dead. So, now, Suzaku was a bit upset, and as the narrator puts it, in the episode, I noticed the narrator says, angry at the losses of his subordinates. And I know people take that as, oh, maybe Suzaku was a little more sympathetic towards the demons that he had working under him and such. And it adds into, you know, his hatred for why he thinks humanity should die. Yada, yada, yada. I kind of disagree with that. I don't think it's more as, like, Suzaku... I don't think it was that Suzaku was mad that his subordinates died and he was sad for their deaths, and that's what upset him. It was more of the fact that he kind of felt like, how the fuck are these humans doing this? You know, like, well, 2 of them are human. How are they doing this? Like, he didn't expect them to get as far as they did. He didn't expect them to get past the entrance. And now he's kind of made a mockery out of 3 of the people who stood alongside him. You know, like the 3 other Saint Beasts. So they represent him too, because he's the leader. So, you lead a team, they represent you. They represent your leadership. So I think he felt more disrespected at their deaths rather than like saddened by them. It was just like, how dare you insult me? And that's what ticked him off. I don't think Suzaku is like, he seems very charismatic. I don't think he has any like deep empathy towards others, if that makes sense. And I don't want to get too deep into Suzaku's character just because the show didn't, but there's just bits of information you can like get from like some of his actions and some of the things he says and the way he says them. And it might be due to his voice actor, the way his voice actor speaks, but I just feel like it worked really well for Suzaku's character and who he was. And Suzaku was a great villain. Suzaku's one of like my favorite villains in Yu Yu Hakusho, even though he's very early in, because he serves as like that kind of like final test to see if Yusuke's really in it to win it for this stuff. You know, he's fresh out of Genkai's training. This is the first official fight we'll actually see him in since then. And after this, they're gonna meet Toguro. Like, we have the whole Yukino rescue arc before the Dark Tournament, but this is it. We're about to meet the Toguro brothers, which leads directly into the Dark Tournament. So that's a whole new kind of ballpark, a whole new field of like craziness to explore, and everyone goes through their character arcs through the Dark Tournament. So this kind of feels like a finale in sorts to this arc, this early Spirit Detective arc that we have been going through for the 18 episodes prior. So that's why I like Suzaku, because I think he's a good foil for that. He definitely has the qualities of generic anime villain, like, oh, I hate humanity, they're so stupid and weak, so they deserve to die. And at the same time, he's very charismatic. He cracks jokes at Yusuke. He can be very serious. He has a little bird, Meguru, who talks that shit, and he's just like, yes, talk that shit, Meguru. So he's like simple and a little complex at the same time. And I like the fact that Togashi was actually able to fit that much into a character for the amount of time that character was there. In the anime, he's there for 3 episodes. I don't remember exactly how many chapters he's in the manga, but it's not a lot. If it's only 3 episodes in the anime, it may be like 5 or 6 chapters in the manga. I would have to go back and check the manga to see how long the fight was in it. But he's not there for that long, yet we get so much info about him and get to know him so well. And I feel like that's a step up from Rando. Rando, we got as much as we needed to know from him, but it wasn't as deep. I feel one thing that Togashi executes really well is, you get to know as much as you need to about a villain. We could have known more about Rando, definitely, but we didn't need to because we weren't going to see him again. So we got exactly what we needed to get a feel for his character, to understand who he was, and for him to leave an impression. He's not forgettable. You know what I mean? Goku can be forgettable. The only reason why I remember Goku is because I've watched the show so many fucking times, and that spirit gun through the mouth. But that wasn't like because of Goku. That was because Yusuke shot a fucking spirit gun in his mouth. So you get what I'm saying with that stuff. So the episode starts off, the team's running towards Maze Castle. Or not Maze, they're in Maze Castle, but they're running towards like that final tower, that final pillar, the watchtower. So as they're running, you get this really cool shot, and you can tell, you know, it's older animation, so it doesn't look fucking mind-blowingly amazing, but it's a cool shot, the way they did it. It's them running, and it's from like their backs are pointed at it. Their backs are towards the camera, towards the viewer. So they're running, and like the ground kind of has like that curved effect, that curvature kind of effect as they're running, and you could see the watchtower up ahead and then the lightning striking in the sky. It's just a really cool shot, and they show it like twice, maybe for like a second or two, but it stuck with me. I remembered it. I was just like, oh wow, that's really cool. I like that shot. So they're about to reach the main watchtower. They're about to go in there, and essentially, I guess they were going to jump Suzaku. I don't know what exactly they were planning on doing, because they were all about to mob up there. I mean, they all have been doing that and been doing one-on-one fights. But shit, imagine if they just fucking jumped Suzaku. Prism of 7 Suzaku versus Yusuke, Kuwabara, Hiei, and Kurama. That would have been fucking interesting. Suzaku takes out the clones, and then like his main body just kind of chills, and then the 6 go after the 4. He's just sitting in the throne with his whistle, just waiting for him. Like, that would have been interesting. That's a fun little what if. I doubt it would happen, but it's just funny to think. So, they're about to get to the entrance to get up to the main watchtower. Meanwhile, Suzaku's, watching them. He's like, he's, being anime villain in the darkness and the shadows. And his pet bird, his little assistant, Meguru, who does kind of represent Phoenix-ish design patterns. I think I mentioned that very briefly last week, that Meguru was supposed to add on to the representation that Suzaku was the Phoenix, because that's what Suzaku is. That's the cardinal direction. It's the Phoenix. Seiryu is the dragon, Byakuya was the tiger, Genbu was like the turtle snake thing. So, yeah. So I think that was supposed to add to it, because Suzaku is a humanoid. Seiryu was too, but you could clearly tell Seiryu was supposed to be the dragon. He even calls himself the blue dragon. Suzaku doesn't call himself anything representing a phoenix. He just calls himself Suzaku, leader of the Saint Beast. Even the title of the episode is called Suzaku, leader of the Saint Beast. So I guess Meguru is there to help with that representation, to add on to it and just give him a little assistant. And I know a lot of people hate Meguru. I think she's annoying too, but she served her purpose well, so I kind of tier her a bit higher in terms of characters. She's in the good category, towards the middle, just because that's what she was there for. She did a good job at it. She wasn't oh, I'm an assistant and trash at it. She was there to be an annoying ass fucking bird. And we only got to deal with her for 3 episodes, so whatever, bro. So as they're getting there, Meguru and Suzaku are talking, and Meguru is like, I just love the cultivated human, Suzaku. Her voice, bro. I think that's what kills a lot of people. It's her fucking voice. Because it's so so obnoxious. You know this bitch is obnoxious. But yeah, Suzaku's like, yes, that is a good plan. So Suzaku starts playing the flute. And as they're about to reach the entrance, the team, Yusuke and the gang, stops. And out from the shadows from these doors and the entrance of the main watchtower come these things, the cultivated humans. I think they're called Shukoku Ningen in the Japanese. But pretty much they're literally grown humans. They plant them and grow them, I guess. and then they're like stripped of all free will and sense of self, so they're just kind of like mindless slaves. So the Matrix is right. We are not born. We are grown. And they kind of look like a cross between like, it looks like if Swamp Thing had a lack of calcium in his body. You know what I mean? They're just like really scrawny, weird looking green mushy people guys with like this generic like blondish brown hairdo and hair color. But they all come out, and it's a lot of them. It's a fucking lot of them. So they're just like, okay, it's gonna take forever to fight through these guys. What are we supposed to do? And Yusuke's like, look, I'm gonna just blow these niggas away with my shotgun. And Kurama stops him. He's like, use your head. And they kind of have this back and forth, still showing you that Yusuke's fucking stupid. Because Kurama's like, use your head, Yusuke. And Yusuke's like, you want me to headbutt him? And I was just like, bruh. He's like, we have to weigh out our options and address the situation carefully. And then Yusuke, again, is just like, well, I don't see how headbutting's gonna help. I'm like, dude. Him and Kuwabara are, like, made to be best friends because they're both fucking stupid. I love it. But the plan pretty much is, Hiei points out, there's a window that they might be able to help Yusuke leap to. So they come up with a plan. And pretty much, they charge in. Kuwabara's like, please try not to dig in too deep with your shoes. Kuwabara rushes forward ahead of them, tackles through a crowd of the cultivated humans, and, like, plants himself firmly, feet planted firmly on the ground in a sturdy stance, and he leans down. Kurama jumps up, climbs up on his shoulders, and stands on him. Then Hiei jumps up, stands on Kurama's shoulders. Then Yusuke runs up and, like, jumps off Kuwabara's back, Kurama's back, then Hiei's back, and reaches the window. Just barely. He barely grabs it with his hands and pulls himself up to get in. So, as Kurama and Hiei land gracefully to the ground, Kuwabara falls flat on his face, of course. They see he made it, and Yusuke's like, have fun with the veg heads. And they wave him off, wish him luck. Yusuke seems confident, he keeps going. While that's happening, Kuwabara, Hiei, and Kurama now have to deal with all the cultivated humans. So we get a little fight scene. Kuwabara's just like, oh, I'm gonna feel bad kicking your guys' butt, and he throws a straight. Kuwabara doesn't even take out his spirit sword. he just fucking socks one, just full on, just hard right to the jaw, just bow, and that nigga goes down. Meanwhile, Kurama is like slaying these niggas with the rose whip, just slicing through their heads, and Hiei's just running through them, blinding speed, blitzing them, cutting them down with the sword. And it cuts, the shot like cuts and transitions to Yusuke running up to the top of the tower. And we also, get the plot of seeing Keiko still running from all the possessed teachers and students at the school. They're after her because now Suzaku has sent them out on Keiko as payback for Yusuke's team defeating the first 3 Saint Beasts. So, because he knows, thanks to Meguru, he knows Keiko and Yusuke are very close. So, as she's running, Botan manages to catch up with her, and now they're hiding in a shrub talking, and Keiko still thinks, Keiko doesn't know anything that's going on spiritually yet, so she thinks Botan and Yusuke are, like, in some secret relationship, and he's trying to keep it from her, so she's still kind of jealous of Botan. Botan assures her, look, that's not the case. That's your dude. It's not like that. I have nothing. But she can't really say exactly what's going on yet because Yusuke doesn't want her Keiko involved. So also again to the Yu Yu Hakusho group, there was a post that said Yusuke didn't care about Keiko. He didn't even want Keiko involved this far. He thought it would be better for her well-being if she didn't even fucking know. Eventually, it was better that she did know, but she still got put in harm's way, and he didn't like that. So, okay, just saying. So as they're talking, the shrubs, disperse, and they're found, so now they have to run. Back with Yusuke, he reaches the top, he reaches the watchtower, the main throne room for Suzaku, and he sees the big monitor on the screen in the back, and it's really cool. Like, I've watched Yu Yu Hakusho so many times. I've read it a couple of times back in the day. And I always liked the scene, the setup, like the battleground, like the location for this fight. I've always liked it. I like the setup. I've always mentioned that big-ass monitor showing Keiko and Botan running for their lives in the background. I've always loved that, but, like, the atmosphere of that scene is really fucking intense. Like, when you first see it, it's like you're with Yusuke seeing this. I think they showed the monitor before, like in the episode previously, before Yusuke gets there. But that, I don't know, that entrance, you walk in and it's kind of like dark, and the only light you really can see is coming from that big ass monitor, and you just see Keiko and Botan running and looking really like worried. And Yusuke's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, Keiko, Botan, like he's like shocked that he can see that. And then Suzaku makes his entrance, and it's the most like stuck up douchebag entrance I've ever seen. He, from the shadows, kind of like the dim lit background of the room, you hear him playing the flute, and he's slowly walking up towards Yusuke, and he's just like, and he's just playing the fucking Makai whistle as he's approaching. And then you finally see him. He's finally revealed. This is the first time in the anime and the manga you officially see Suzaku in full lighting and all of that. You see his design. I really like Suzaku's design. It's very simple, but it's very cool. He has like this, like, these white pants, like with the red kind of like sleeveless cloak top setup, little shawl scarf around him. He looks very like, he looks like a leader, like a leader of like some kind of like ancient or mystical group of people, which makes sense because he's the leader of the Saint Beast. And then he has the Makai whistle, and then he has like a, you know, this reddish brown hairdo kind of, and then he has the antenna. It's like reddish, brownish, golden. I can't get the exact color down in my head at the time, but then he has like these two antennas in front of his head, and then like the tips of them are like the lower halves of them are red, and I believe he says that's like armor he dipped them in, kind of like to harden them up. Later we find out that plays an important role in what's going to happen, but from there Yusuke's like, alright nigga, this nigga's walking up to me playing the flute while Keiko and Botan are running from their line. So they do their back and forth. Suzaku introduces himself as the leader of the Saint Beast, and Maguru's like, and I'm his assistant, Maguru, and everyone's just like, fucking Maguru, bro. So Yusuke's mad. Yusuke is already over this shit. They've been running through this castle for God knows how long. They finally get his friends have risked their lives. Like, I forgot to mention this, but Kurama is still holding his injured stomach. He's still not like healed yet, and he's out there fighting still. Kuwabara, you know, he's got some damage. He is the only one who didn't suffer too much damage. Even though he broke off that ice, I don't know how much that hurt him, but they're still surrounded. And like, it's one like solid dude and like two men injured. So his friends, you know, risked their lives to get him there. Sorry, I had to take a little water. And they're still risking their lives. Keiko and Botan's lives are now in harm's way. And this smug bastard is just at the top of the castle with his flute and his bird. And he's just like, step up, nigga. What you gonna do? And Yusuke, I forget the exact line, but I was just like, that was such a good line before the cutaway. Before it cuts back to the little eye catch and gets back to the episode. Yusuke's like, look, call off your freaky insects on Keiko, and I'll only rip out one of your lungs. And Suzaku's like, and if I refuse, and Yusuke says, then hold your freaking breath. And then it just cuts off. I was just like, bro, it's about to go down. Just that, like, that line, like that classic Yusuke, I'm an asshole line. It's just like, woo, here we go. It's about to be a throwdown. So just to get into the fight, we don't get a lot of it yet. This is just the start, because now we're on the second half of the episode. Keiko and Botan are still running. Kurama, Hiei, and Kuwabara are still fighting outside. the fight with Yusuke and Suzaku begins. Yusuke rushes him, right? And Suzaku's like, yo, this nigga is fast. And the shot kind of shows it. Yusuke, like, when he starts running up, it's not like a slow, like, few second shot of him running towards him. Yusuke is sprinting at this man full speed, and he's there. Yusuke starts throwing a flurry of punches with both his hands, and Suzaku immediately starts blocking them with one hand. Suzaku's not letting go of the flute, because that's what controls the insects, the Makai whistle. So, Yusuke has to get it from him and destroy it in order to call the insects off, get them freed off the people, and save Keiko and Botan. So, he doesn't have time. That's why he's running up to stop this man immediately. And Suzaku is still blocking the flurry of two-handed punches. Like, both hands swinging at him in a barrage with one hand. And Yusuke's like, I can't even fuck it with it. This nigga is really doing this. And Suzaku's still like, yo, he's really fast. Like, he's still impressed. So Yusuke stops his barrage, goes for a hard right to, try to get a strong punch to his jaw. Suzaku jumps up and dodges it. Now Suzaku's in the air. So Yusuke's like, shouldn't have done that. We see the energy charge around his finger, and you know what time it is. We have not seen the spirit gun fired by Yusuke since his fight with Rando, since they had the spirit gun clash. We saw the shotgun get revealed, but we haven't seen the spirit gun since then. So this is kind of like an epic moment. So Yusuke charges up the blast. You see like this circle, this round orb of energy, like starting from his index finger, just glowing around his whole fist. And you can tell it's gotten stronger because of that, because I don't think it's ever been that radiant prior to this event. And Suzaku's like, what the fuck? Is that his energy? And Yusuke, boom, fires the shot. Suzaku's like, oh. And I believe this is the first time we see the spirit gun looking more as like an energy blast or an energy bullet kind of thing, rather than like a beam. I think prior to this, like every other time Yusuke's fired the spirit gun, it's looked like a beam instead of just like a shot or a blast. I could be wrong. There could be another time that happened. Maybe the fight with Hiei. When he fought Hiei, was it a blast? Because it bounced back and then hit him in the back. Maybe initially it was a beam, and then when it bounced off the mirror, it was just like that condensed ball of energy came back and hit him. But Goki, it was a beam. When he shot at Iwamoto, it was a beam. The Ryzen fight was a beam. I believe, what's the karate man's name with the big arm bomber? I believe that was a beam. All that shit. So this is the first time it's a blast. And I believe it just represents that Yusuke now has ammo for his spirit gun, where he can fire 4 shots a day. And to show it looks more like a bullet. Like to show that he has ammo in the clip, essentially. That's why the shot changed. That, and it got more powerful over that 6 months of training. So Yusuke fires the shot. Suzaku's like, oh shit, I didn't know he could do that. And then Suzaku's look of shot goes to a more serious look, and he just punches it. He just fucking swings and punches the spirit gun shot. And I think that's the first time that's ever happened too. I don't think anyone's ever just like, you know what, I'm gonna just hit it. It's either people still try to dodge it, or they get hit by the shot and take damage. Like, even Rando took damage when they had their spirit gun clash and Yusuke overpowered him. Rando still took damage from it. He said he did. He said he barely had spirit power left, but he was going to try to do the chant. So this is the first time someone's ever just like, man, fuck that spirit gun, and just blown it out of the way. So he hits it, it goes flying up past him and destroys the ceiling of the watchtower. So now there's a big ass hole and you can see the sky and all the lightning. And Yusuke's like, no fucking way. So this isn't going to be as easy as we thought it was. So now the sky is opened up. Or the hole has revealed the sky in the room. And Suzaku's pretty excited about this. And Meguro keeps chanting, oh, you're going to die, you're going to die. Just, she's like hyping Suzaku up while fucking being annoying as hell. And Yusuke's like, go lay an egg or something, or some shit like that. And Suzaku raises his hand, and as lightning strikes, it strikes directly down in his hand, but it doesn't electrocute him. He gathers this lightning up and condenses it into kind of like this big aura-like ball around his hand, his open palmed hand. And this is where we see the Storm of Torment. And as the narrator describes it, the Storm of Torment is an attack where Suzaku takes lightning and mixes it with his own spirit energy to like make a condensed and potent energy attack. So pretty much he took lightning. Pretty much this nigga just used Nen, and he took lightning, mixed it with his own spirit energy to give his spirit energy pretty much lightning properties. So blowing a hole in the ceiling did not help. Kind of made things worse. Just happened to be lightning striking across the sky all day too. Go figure. Sorry, I took eating a little something. But Suzaku rushes Yusuke. Yusuke jumps up, try to dodge it. Suzaku follows up, and he's like, Prism Storm of Torment, and he swings. It looks like Yusuke misses, or dodges it. Doesn't look like Suzaku hit him. And he didn't. But the electricity crackling around the attack still manages to like conduct itself around Yusuke, and Yusuke is still hit by that electricity from around the attack. So Yusuke is shocked, and you get like, not shocked like, well, he's shocked surprise, but he's also shocked as in electrocuted. As he's electrocuted, he does like this agonizing fucking scream. Oh my... It's like painful to hear it, dude. Like he's really being fucking electrocuted, and this is where you can kind of hear the Raditz in his voice. That's where you can definitely hear it. I don't know why I always forget his name. The voice actor for Yusuke in the dub. I don't know why I always forget his name, but he also does Raditz. And when Yusuke screams at certain points, it sounds just like Raditz talking normally. So. Let me look up his name. I don't know why I can't remember his name. I always forget it. I don't know why I always forget it. Yusuke dub voice. Because it's going to fucking bother me. Justin Cook. I knew his last name was Cook. I just didn't want to say Cook over and over again. Yeah, Justin Cook. He's the voice of Yusuke, Raditz. If you watch the My Hero Academia dub, he does Kirishima. My favorite character in My Hero. But, that scream, bravo to him, because that shit makes you feel uncomfortable. Like the way he screams, mixed with just like that shot of him like being electrocuted, his eyes are kind of like glazed out, and he's just like, yeah! And then he just smacks into the ground. Suzaku lands gracefully, and Yusuke falls behind him, smacked into the ground, and Megura's like, look at him writhing in pain, Suzaku. I love that shit. She loved that shit. Weird, bro. Like, so as Yusuke is writhing in agony, Koenma and George are watching from the monitor, and they're just like, oof, that shit was unnerving. Do you see him like twitching still? And then Koenma immediately starts eating. And George is like, how the fuck do you even have an appetite after that? So meanwhile, Keiko and Botan are pinned in the corner of a hall in the school, surrounded by these Makai insect zombified people. And at first Keiko's like, look, they're after me, I'll lure them to one side and you can escape. And Botan's like, no. We not doing that here. So we're gonna figure out a plan. So as that's happening, Yusuke's getting up off the ground, and he, in his head, he's like, I can't take another one of those head on. If he hits me one more time with that, I will die. Like, which goes to show you just how fucking powerful Suzaku was in comparison to Yusuke at that point. If Suzaku had hit him directly with that attack, Yusuke probably would have died. That would have been the end of the fight. And I don't know if he and the others could have taken him on. When an attack that fucking one-shots like that, I don't know, man. And that wasn't even like his full power at that point. You also have to remember the Prism of 7. Just in the Prism Storm of Torment. Oh fuck, we're gonna get to that next episode. Prism Storm of Torment is literally torture. But so Yusuke's getting up. He knows he can't take another one of those hits. So what does he do? Kicks off his shoes with the rubber soles, and he puts them on his hands, and he's like, Alright, let's go. So he's essentially using the rubber shoes as like kind of like boxing gloves, and Meguro even comments that she's like, oh, he's gonna try to use the rubber to absorb the electricity. and it's not gonna work. You might as well try blocking a cannonball with paper. And she's still, you know, doing her little side commentary, talking her shit, trying to hype Suzaku up. And as that's happening, Yusuke's like, I'm not going to worry about Keiko. She's not a fighter, but she's plenty tough. She'll get out of this. I know she can. So this is a cool little scene. I like this scene to finish off, like, the first episode of this 3-episode fight. Because this is 3 episodes long. So as Yusuke is about to clash with Suzaku again, Suzaku about to throw another Storm of Torment, Keiko and Botan make their moves. They both run different directions. Botan runs for a fire extinguisher, while Keiko tries to run the other way and gets pinned down to a wall. And Keiko, as these fucking zombified people are running up on Keiko starts smacking the shit out of them. Just slapping them. And I don't know why it was so funny, because it was like a dire situation for her. But I was just like, damn, that's how we do? Make Keiko a playable... Make a Yu Hakusho fighter and make Keiko playable. Just so you can slap people. She'd just be like, pop! Just pop! And then one of them had enough, and they was like, stop all that shit, and grabbed her by the hair. But I was just like, god damn! So that's happening. And Yusuke and Suzaku clash. It goes back to that shot. And Suzaku fires the Storm of Torment. Yusuke blocks with his rubber-soled shoe-covered hands, and as he's blocking, the electricity, of course, bursts through his shoes. It's just too much. But behind his shoes, his hands were charging up spirit energy. So this spirit energy that he gathered up in secret charged up kind of like a shield or a barrier to block Suzaku's attacks. Now Suzaku's thrown off guard. He's like, yo, what the fuck? Back to Keiko and Botan, as Keiko's about to get fucking murdered by these zombies. Botan fires the fire extinguisher at them and like breaks them all off of her. And then we see Iwamoto run up on Botan and pick her up, and he about to he gonna yeet this bitch. So Keiko's just like, Botan, hold on, and she runs up, and Yusuke cancels out Suzaku's attack. And Yusuke's like, it's my turn now. And he charges spirit energy on his hands and just throws a hard-ass right, boom, to the jaw of Suzaku. Suzaku goes flying back, stunned, like caught off guard. He wasn't able to counter or dodge that punch in time because he was so shocked that Yusuke blocked his attack. And at the same time, Keiko smacks the shit out of Iwamoto and knocks him away from Botan, and they can escape. I really like that scene because it shows like their dynamic as a couple. Like, Yusuke's like this tough delinquent dude, and Botan, or not I was gonna say Botan. Sorry shippers, no, it didn't happen. And Keiko's more of like this nice girl, good student, but at the same time they can relate. Yusuke does have a softer side. It's just hidden under a wall of junk. You know, he walls up his emotions. Whereas Keiko can be a tougher girl who doesn't just put up with Yusuke's shit. So that's the link. That's kind of like the attraction to each other. So it was cool, like, Yusuke is like, you know, she's tough. She's not a fighter, but she's tough. And she proved that because she knocked that man over. And now Suzaku's a little annoyed because he's like, yo, what the fuck? This kid's a little more clever than I thought he was, because he used the shoe thing as a ruse so he wouldn't notice that he was charging up spirit energy. Now, I know some people might be thinking, well, like, why didn't Yusuke just do that? Why did he need to do the shoe thing? Because he needed to catch Suzaku off guard. He probably also needed time to charge the energy. If he was charging up the energy, he still probably could have blocked Storm of Torment, but I doubt he would have been able to have enough time to hit Suzaku before Suzaku could react. Suzaku seems a little faster than Yusuke is at this point. So even if he did counter Storm of Torment, throwing a punch, Suzaku would probably just jump out of the way again, or block it, or something like that. So when he put the shoes on, Suzaku didn't expect much of him. He is like, oh, okay, whatever. You think this is going to work. You're a little dumber than I thought. This is exactly why humans deserve to die. You're stupid, you're ignorant, and we need to get you off the earth so the demons can roam on it. So Suzaku was also confident that he was going to win this exchange. He didn't see Yusuke as a threat, so his guard was let down. So when he does see, like, oh, the shoes blow off and then there's the energy shield, he's like, yo, what? Boom! Yusuke hits him. That was the whole point of that play. He had to catch Suzaku by surprise in order to get that win, which works on Yusuke's strengths. Yusuke is a street fighter. He's a delinquent. He grew up fighting on the streets. So him being able to do that is something that a trained martial artist probably wouldn't have thought of doing. Like, you're not going to think of tactics like that or silly things of that nature or plans to counteract these masterful techniques that these demons are using. You're going to be like, okay, how can I trick this dude into a false sense of security? Which is what Yusuke did. And I like that was this first exchange between Yusuke and Suzaku was really good. They both didn't expect certain things from each other. Like, Suzaku was blocking Yusuke with one hand. Yusuke was able to fire that spirit gun. Suzaku did Storm of Torment. Yusuke was smart enough to counter it. So now we're going to move into kind of like round 2 where things are going to get real serious in episode 20 of Yu Yu Hakusho. So we are going to be 20 episodes deep next week into that. But overall, love this episode. Great start to the finale of the final fight of this arc. My favorite part of this arc is probably in episode 2, like a lot of the fight stuff that happens in, or episode 20 of this part 2 of the fight, pretty much. I like a lot of the action that happens. One particular move I really, really enjoy, but things are building up, and then we're going to see the peak of Yusuke's training, what it meant, and a good amount of growth from him over the course of these next 2 episodes in this fight. So hopefully you guys are excited to see it, but while we still have some time left, I want to move into this last topic, which is the Yu Yu Hakusho group. So I just have a few things to say about it, and mainly just things I dislike. Oh man, that plane, bro. So the main thing I want to address with the group, about the group, is I'll go ahead and say, like, I say that I lump them in as one group, even though I'm also in the group. There's a lot of people in there who, you know, really cool, really chill. A lot of the times where, you know, everyone's chilling, just talking about the show. I think the main issue comes from people who either haven't watched the show in a very long time, people who are newer to the series, or people who just like to use their headcanon as facts. I use headcanon a lot. I'll mention things like me inferring it, in my opinion, especially in the retrospective. But especially when it's headcanon, I'll say that it's headcanon. Like that whole Hiei honor thing, I was like, this is my own headcanon, you know? Me inferring things, me taking things to represent something. Those are just my words and my opinions and my thoughts. I don't want you to think I'm spreading those as facts. The only thing I'll say are facts are things that actually occurred in the show, things that were actually said in the show. The whole Suzaku thing, like with like him, you know, not really being more angry and disrespected that his subordinates died, leans more on opinion, definitely. But I feel like it has a lot of strong evidence to back that. But still, you get what I'm saying. So it mainly comes from that stuff, and it leads to a lot of like weird things being said that people. And it's like, people don't know what they're talking about. Like, one thing, it happened like 2 weeks ago. Somebody made like this post about how Yusuke doesn't care about Keiko. And it was so weird because it was like, you know, he was explaining his reasonings. He's like, you know, throughout the series with the relationships, Keiko does this, this, and this, but Yusuke doesn't reciprocate. He just kind of goes on and does this and does his own thing and then does da. And it was weird. It was a weird post to me because it couldn't have been more wrong, because the amount of things Yusuke has done for Keiko's sake is astounding. Not saying that, oh, Keiko doesn't care as much as you. That's not what it's about. It's about whether or not did Yusuke care. And the answer is yes. Of course he did. He felt emotion for her when she came to his wake in the first episode. When he needed someone to say keep his body safe, he went to Keiko. When he needed someone to transfer the life energy to bring him back, Keiko. Not to mention when Yusuke's house was on fire and his body was threatened to be cremated or being burnt up in that house, Keiko went to drag him out, and she almost got trapped in the flames with his body. And it's like, look, dude, if you throw that egg in now, you'll save Keiko's life, but you won't be able to get yours back. So because there can also be an argument saying like, well, maybe he threw the egg in because he wanted to mainly save his own body to get it back. Yes, but they said if he threw the egg in, then he wouldn't get his life back. And he didn't know that Koema would, grant him a pass just because he did a good thing. He didn't know that. And it was like, without hesitation, he yeeted that egg in and said, what's the point of me being alive if Keiko has to die? Like, he didn't want to live if it meant Keiko's death, is what he was saying. So he threw that egg in without hesitation and really thought that was over, that he wasn't going to be able to get his body back. But Koema let him have it anyway, and he became a spirit detective. He kept being a spirit detective from Keiko for a long period of time because he didn't want Keiko involved in getting hurt. Keiko is used as like a weakness towards Yusuke's character due to the fact that they're close and he cares for her a lot. So like he had kidnapped Keiko, and Yusuke of course went off to save her, but he still doesn't tell her about anything. The Makai insects currently now, as we were talking about in the retrospective, are going after Keiko because they know, the same beast, Suzaku knows, that Yusuke and Keiko are close, so he's using that as a weakness. He's angry and he's gonna take advantage of that. Stuff at the Dark Tournament. One scene in the Dark Tournament really, really, really shows the fact that Yusuke like loves her. And it's, well, there's that first scene where at the end of the first round of the Dark Tournament where Yusuke beats Chu and they're talking and they have their little back and forth, and she's just like, you better not lose, and she does the whole spirit gun bang thing. Like that was cool, that was cute, that was adorable. But the scene I'm talking about where it really shows like Yusuke cares, like and to me kind of like solidifies it and breaks down like that argument of like Yusuke doesn't care about Keiko, is Toguro and Yusuke are fighting in the finals. They're having their back and forth. They're in it. Like that fight is like, it started and they were going for it. Toguro goes for a punch and Yusuke could dodge it, deflect it, whatever. But then Yusuke kind of like glances over his shoulder, stops moving, and just prepares to try to block it. Toguro notices that and stops short. And Togoro's like, you think I don't notice the way you look at me like I'm a monster? Like if you wouldn't lose everything to lose your beloved, that whole thing, that whole talk. And when you look, Yusuke was blocking because if he had dodged it, the shockwave of Togoro's punch would have went into the stands where Keiko, Shizuru, Botan, Yukina, they were all sitting and watching. He didn't want Keiko to get hurt. And Yusuke's like, unlike you, I actually plan on growing old with her. When Toguro said, you don't know what it's like to lose your like love, your beloved. And Yusuke's like, yeah, and I don't plan to. I actually plan to grow old with her. He's talking about Keiko. Like he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. So it's just like, what are you talking about? Yusuke doesn't care about Keiko. Not to mention when he left to Demon World for the 3 years, people were like, he's so selfish, he left her there. Okay, but look, is it really that selfish of him? Or is it really that bad of him to be selfish in that situation where he wants to know more about who he is? Like, I don't understand how you can fault him for wanting to know more about himself. He just found out he was part demon. Ryzen interrupted his fight. He knows Ryzen is out there. He could feel it. So if he had the opportunity to go to Demon World, meet with Ryzen directly, and learn more about his origins and break down like his character and what it all means to him, like why is he who he is, why he does what he does, why would he not take that chance? And yes, it means he has to leave Keiko, and I understand that Keiko is hurt because Yusuke, constantly is going on these cases, constantly risking his life, constantly doing this, but that's who he is as a person. And at the same time, it's just like, he needed that. He needed that as a character. He was never going to mature further after the whole fight with Sensui, until he did that. Like, he was stuck. that's why he wanted to leave. Notice that episode where he's like, you know, chilling around at school, not really doing anything. He seemed lost. He seemed like he didn't have a direction after Sensui, after they decided to, you know, hurry up and get the hell out of Demon World before they sealed the Kakai barrier up. And he told Koema, he was talking to Koema, it's like, you're crying to the moon. It's just like, that's how he felt. He was crying to the moon. That he wanted something that he couldn't reach. And he needed that in his life to complete that character arc. Had Yusuke not left the Demon World and maybe just, you know, yeah, maybe he would have stayed with Keiko. Maybe he would have stayed in school. Maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe he still would have found a good job and they would have gotten married. And maybe it would have been cool. But at the same time, who knows what would have happened in Demon World. First off, Ryzen was near dead, which means within that 3-year time period, Ryzen would have died. I don't know if Hiei and Kurama would have left to go to Demon World if Yusuke hadn't. Who knows? Let's say they still did. Okay, the only reason why the Demon World tournament happened was because of Yusuke. So Yusuke not left, Ryzen dies 3 years later. Yusuke is going to be drastically weaker because he didn't go do that training. He's going to have no impact or no say in what goes on in Demon World because he never went. Which means Yomi and Makura are just going to have a big ass fucking war to see who controls it. Things could have went down drastically different had Yusuke not gone. So it's not only like a story impact, but like an impact to his character in general, because like I said, it completed his arc. He was lost. He was empty after Sensui. And you even see that again when he's fighting Yomi. He's like, wait, this doesn't feel right. I don't know what I'm fighting for here. You know, Yomi had a reason to fight. Everyone there had like their reasons to fight and had their motives. Yusuke didn't know why he was doing this anymore. He was just doing it. He was just going with the motions. And he was like, Toguro and Sensui, you know, did it for their own reasons. And then in the end, after they did what they did, they wanted someone strong to take their lives. Is that what it is? Do I have no meaning now? Do I just want someone strong to kill me now because I have nothing left to go for? And though Yusuke's character arc is very simple, what he needed to complete himself was always there, was always right in front of him. The answer was just always there. He thrived in that action, that violence, that environment. And when he was in Demon World, he felt home because he was able to do that. And when he realizes that as a character, and he's like, I can't go back until I'm like fully invested in that. I can't go back to Keiko until that point. He was able to fight again, and then we got the full fight with Yusuke versus Yomi. So yeah, it makes sense that he left. I know people fault him for it, but it's just like, how do you gonna fault a man for wanting to find meaning in his life? Just because you have, you know, a love life or a relationship or a significant other doesn't mean you've quite figured everything out. You still might feel empty somewhere. You still might need to do something you personally need to do as a person. You have to take care of you first. And I think that's what Yusuke's journey represents. Him finding himself. It was a boy to a man. Yusuke's 18 by the end of the series. So there's that. Another thing is like the constant like death battle debates. Death battle debates have gotten really stale just because a lot of people who do death battle debates don't know the particulars of a death battle or like a versus or what if and all that stuff. And they normally just go for the character they like more. I was guilty of this too, like really early into like versus battles and debates when I was understanding them and getting into them. Don't get me started on Screw Attack. But there's a lot of those. And the thing you gotta factor in at the end of the day is just because you like a character more doesn't mean that character is going to be stronger than the person they're being hypothetically put up against. Take for example, Screw Attack's Hiei versus Sasuke death battle. Hiei should not have won that death battle. I'm sorry, he shouldn't have. I know a lot of Yu Yu Hakusho fans love that shit. They were just so hyped to see Hiei win that. But he shouldn't have won. And I know, we already know Screw Attack and Death Battle has said that they do take popularity into account and this and that. The thing I have a problem with when they say that, and like a lot of other like power scalers like Seth the Programmer, for example, have taken issue with what that statement is. You say like, yeah, you know, we take entertainment first before anything. That's all fine and good. That's not an issue. If you guys just did death battles and were just like, huh, let's do a what if, and then like maybe had a poll for people to vote like who'll win, and that's how you determine the winner. It's just more of a popularity thing. I don't think myself or a lot of other people would take as big of an issue with it. The thing that I have an issue with Death Battle saying that and that statement is that while they say we take entertainment first into account, you still do like these calculations. You still mention all these like notes and inputs and facts and feats about the characters and compare them, and it's like, well, this character will win because such and such and such and such. So even though it's still a popularity contest, you're still taking feats and stats and calculations and all these numbers into account. Why is that necessary if it's a popularity contest? Either you can't have both. You have to either factually do a versus battle comparing feats, which is the whole point of like, you know, the whole power scaling and death battle debates and versus debates. You have to either do all of that or just go with the popularity contest. If you just do the popularity contest and don't have the numbers and just, you know, like, oh, this is Hiei, this is his origins, these are his powers. This is Sasuke, this is his origins, these are his powers. Fight. You guys voted, this person wins. So then they just do an animated fight and then just have the victor be the victor, whoever got the most votes. The fact that they bring up these calculations kind of like contradicts that statement of it being entertainment as well. Because it's just like, you can't have both like that. That's why people have an issue. That's what's leading to the conflict. Maybe you can say like, oh yeah, they can have both, they do it. Yeah, and people take issue with it because they're doing both. That's not how that should work. It makes no sense. So of course you're gonna have people frustrated when you bring up these calculations that a lot of the time are wrong, when you downplay characters, when you take away characters like feats or abilities or weapons. One death battle that always upset me was like Link versus Cloud, because they gave Link one of the factors that helped Link win that death battle was them saying, of course, you know, the Master Sword, they destroy evil cells, Genova. That's fair. Give Link like some kind of advantage like that. That doesn't mean Link is guaranteed to win, but yeah, no, that makes sense. Genova cells are evil, Cloud has them, da 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 da. But one of the factors they put in was like Link had like 15 generations of experience. They gave this one Link different abilities from other Links in different video games. If you're not familiar with Legend of Zelda, most of the games don't follow the same exact Link. Some of them do, but usually each game, it's like a different person reincarnated. Like that, the Hero of Time is reincarnated, or not the Hero of Time. Just that hero, like that legend, that Link, that warrior, is reincarnated as a new person, which is why we have all these different Legend of Zelda games with different timelines with different characters too. There's timeline splits due to the Link that is the Hero of Time and not Ocarina of Time. But they took all these different Links who are technically separate people, and they're like, he can do this, this, this from this Link, he can do this, this, this from this Link, he can do this, this, this from this Link, and they just made it one Link. And then Cloud, they were like, Cloud will have his Buster Sword, and he can use like fire materia. What? So they were like, give Cloud basic equipment and give Link 15 generations of experience. Also, they talk about, you know, like factually doing death battles and like calculations and stuff. Link should not have blocked all of Omni Slash. It's literally impossible. He was in the air. And somebody was saying, well, he didn't block it all. He only blocked the first hit and then took all the other hits. I don't think he did. It clearly looked like he was blocking them all. And if that was the case and he took all the other hits, he should be dead. There's no fucking way he would survive that. If he got hit by every other hit in the Omni Slash, he should be torn apart. He should be torn apart. Like, they could give Cloud an Ultima weapon. It was just a lot of stuff that bothered me because they were picking popularity over it, which is fine if you're solely doing that. Where am I going off in this tangent? Because the death battles or the debates in the Yu Yu Hakusho group are very much the same thing. They do similar things like that with their death battles, and it leads to people like making these false statements up too, like blatantly false statements. Of course you're going to expect Yu Yu Hakusho to be the more popular of a Yu Yu Hakusho group, so of course you're going to see more people saying like, oh, this person will win because of such and such and such and such, or this person will win because of such and such and such and such. But of course you're going to see that, but at the same time, you shouldn't expect to see like blatantly false information So originally I had another main topic that I was going to do today, but I got up early this morning because I have some things to do. It was related to some announcements I was going to make. I'll probably do it next week. But I was just scrolling through my phone. I got up early. I was up at like 7:30, almost 8 o'clock. And I was just scrolling, and I saw another debate, like, who would win? End of series Yusuke or Hokage Naruto? Now, of course, it's a Yu Yu Hakusho group, so more people, of course, voted for Yusuke to win. Because it's Yusuke. Makes sense. Fair enough. Should be expected. Here, okay, so I pulled up the pictures. I screenshotted it because I knew I wanted to remember what people were saying. So, somebody created a poll, Hokage Naruto versus Yusuke at the end of the Three Kings arc. Who you got? 91, this is the votes as of when I saw this post hours ago. It could be different now. 91 votes for Yusuke, 29 votes for Naruto, including me, and 20 votes for No More Versus post. There are a lot of people just annoyed with the Versus post. And this also hurts the power scaling and Versus battle community because it makes them look bad, and I'll get into that a little more too. But so I went into the comments because I wanted to see what people were saying. Some people, were like, no, Naruto would win. Like, some people were even like, dude, I love Yusuke, and Naruto's not very much, like, one of my favorite anime protags. Not really. But at the same time, I know Naruto would win, and that's just how it is. I still like Yusuke a lot more, which is fair. You can like a character more, even though they're weaker. Kuwabara is my favorite character in Yu Yu Hakusho, and damn near pretty much my favorite character in all of anime. He's not the strongest person, not even in his own show. No. But he's a great character. That's why I like that character. But some people like to think like, oh, that's my favorite character, so of course they win. Because it's my favorite. That's why they win. And, oh, I like Yu Yu Hakusho more than Naruto, so of course Yu Yu Hakusho is going to win. So, here's a set of comments I was reading. And I won't read the names, because I'm not an asshole. Even when I showed my friends, I blurred their names out. I like to show people stuff and like post it, maybe like post stuff about it, like information, just to kind of set up my own counter argument against it. But I don't like post people's like public names because they don't need to be like, I don't need to do that. That's not very nice to them. It's different in the group because they're in the group, so it's like their names are already out there. But outside of it, I don't do that personally. I don't show people's names because that's fucked up. So somebody said, Spirit Wave, Demon Gun, Spirit Gun, and Spirit Shotgun. I'm voting Yusuke with a better arsenal. All comes down to the combat for Akuma versus Dark Martial Arts. Okay, first off, you said Yusuke has a better arsenal than Naruto? No, boy. No. You can like Yusuke's moves better than Naruto's? That's one thing, saying that. Yusuke has a better arsenal than Naruto? Are you... Nigga, you are wildin'! Yusuke has the Spirit Gun, the Shotgun, the Spirit Wave, the Demon Spirit Gun, spiritually charged punches, I guess you could say his demon form, and he has experienced martial arts training from Genkai, and demon world training from Raizen's monks, like Hokushin and them. So Yusuke is a versatile, well-rounded fighter, plus his street fighting experience. And his experience fighting various enemies and demons, getting him experience to counter those. He's very clever. But in terms of like actual techniques, he only knows like 5. He knows Spirit Gun, Spirit Wave, Spirit Shotgun, Demon Gun. I guess you could call that combo move he does. I think on Jump Force they call it Organ Murder, where he just rapidly punches you. I guess you could call that a move because he uses that a lot too. Straight right to the jaw, if you want to count that. So that's like 6. Like, and then he does mention in the Dark Tournament when he was training with Genkai, he could take like blasts of spirit energy and set them to detonate and stuff like that. It was, Kouma called it like a basic move though. Spirit Gun double, I'll count that definitely. That's definitely like its own technique. So like 7 moves. He has 7 moves officially that we see him use. Nice arsenal. Okay, like yeah, better arsenal than Naruto? No. Somebody commented, Somebody said, I think Yusuke would mop the floor with Naruto. Strong disagree, but then somebody commented, better arsenal. Bruh, Naruto has every nature transformation and dozens of Rasengan and Rasen Shuriken variations, not to mention that he can make 5,000 clones and body Yusuke with boil-released ant lava-style giant Rasengan. That's not even mentioning the skyscraper-sized Kurama avatar that can fly and casually launch Bijudama are tail beast bombs that are with low ball mountain level plus. Yeah, definitely low ball. I feel like it does a lot more than that. Naruto with the full Kurama Chakra avatar at that point, I feel like definitely is more than that. I don't know the exact calcs. I'm not like super Naruto power scaly, but I know enough. I know plenty about Yu Yu Hakusho to know that Yusuke is not beating Naruto. So I don't even have to know a lot about Naruto, and I know a good amount, but I wouldn't say I'm like I could officially stat it out and calc like Naruto versus characters and stuff like that. But I know plenty about Yu Yu Hakusho. I know a lot about it to know that Yusuke's not beating Naruto. Yeah, and the dude's right. Naruto, people are like, Naruto only has Rasengan and Shadow Clones. But you have to think of all the variations Naruto has of those. Like Yusuke does. Yusuke has the Spirit Gun and the Spirit Gun Double and the Demon Gun. If you want to count Shotgun, you can. I think I would count that as a different move entirely. But if you wanted to count it, you could. Spirit Wave is definitely a different move. His straight right to the jaw, that's just a punch. And then his, rapid blows, the organ murder. So yeah, but Naruto has Rasengan, Giant Rasengan, Massive Rasengan, Rasengan Barrage, Rasengan, Aerial Rasengan from the air, Rasen Shuriken, Rasen Shuriken with the extra nature transformations he gets from the other tailed beast, his Kurama Chakra avatars, Chakra Sage mode. So he has the Frog Kumite, so the frog sparring. Summoning Jutsu, so he can summon the giant toads. What else does he have? What's the move? I'm forgetting what it's called. I said all the Rasengans. I didn't name all the Rasengans because, lava style Rasen Shuriken and this style, and then he can, like he said, he has boil release that he can stack on top of his martial arts. Boil release would make him amply more powerful. It'd be disgusting. And then tail beast bomb, he can do, that's what I was gonna say, he can turn on his chakra cloak and make a mini tailed beast bomb from his palm of his hand, like a Rasengan, because that's what the Rasengan is based from. When Minato, Naruto's dad, when he invented the Rasengan, he based it off of a Bijudama. That's why it's so similar. That's what he based the technique off of, but he was never able to add a nature transformation to it. Only Naruto has been able to do that. And Naruto can pretty much put every nature transformation onto it. So that adds more variety to his Rasengans and his Rasen Shurikens. So we saw the magnet style Rasengan too. It is just like, come on, bro. We really gonna say he has a better arsenal than Naruto? You must be thinking like Naruto like a base Rasengan and like 5 shadow clones. Homeboy is right. Naruto can summon 5,000 shadow. It's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid how powerful Naruto is. By even like, not even Hokage Naruto, even just like the war, Great Ninja War Naruto, before he even got the 6 paths jutsu, or the 6 paths chakra to do his 6 paths chakra cloak mode, all that shit. During the war, when he goes into the war, he summons various shadow clones of himself that can all do the base chakra mode as well. And they just spread out throughout different parts of the battlefields, in the different battlefields in the war, all throughout the world to help aid in the war. His clones have that much chakra to do that. Usually clones get hit once and they poof. Naruto's clones are fucking ridiculously strong. He can summon hundreds of thousands, or not hundreds of thousands, but I don't know how many Hokage Naruto can summon. Maybe he can do 5, maybe it's only 5,000, maybe it's more, but even still, 5,000 clones, all doing various techniques, not to mention he's trained in taijutsu. He's trained in, the basics of breaking out genjutsu, even though that wouldn't matter in a versus battle with Yusuke. There's no illusions or tricks that Yusuke's going to use like that. Still, he's trained in basic taijutsu, the frog sparring, so the kunai. He has a different fighting style in his chakra cloak. 6 paths mode, so he has the staff and the truth-seeking orbs when he... Well, he doesn't have the truth-seeking orbs anymore, but he could still probably... No, because I don't think he could do the staff anymore, but even then, during the war. Still, though, he has various training and fighting styles. He's also fought various opponents with various different styles of jutsus to display, so he has plenty of experience fighting against other enemies. Naruto and Yusuke are also both pretty dumb, but are very clever. They're battle geniuses, kind of like how Goku is. Goku's a fucking idiot, but he's a fighting genius. Yusuke's like that too. He's very clever. He takes street fighting to his advantage and fights against professional martial artists to take them off guard. Naruto's not very smart, but he's a fighting genius. He's very clever. He can adapt to new fighting situations very easily. He's able to learn and adapt new jutsu very easily. He can use his shadow clones in a variety of different strategies in a very clever way. So it is an interesting matchup, but Naruto definitely has a much larger arsenal than Yusuke does. Drastically larger. I'm sorry, he does. Shuriken, kunai, paper bomb, substitution, that basic stuff too, the body flicker technique. There's just a lot of stuff Naruto can do. And Naruto, I'm sorry, it's then the chakra, the Kurama avatar, yes. The Kurama avatar can fire Bijudama. And he can fire them in rapid succession, as we've seen. That's gonna come up because somebody said something that made no fucking sense. You can tell the person that said the thing I'm gonna bring up didn't really watch Naruto, or hasn't really, and have only seen people kind of talk about it online, because what he said was fucking stupid. Just flat out, I'm sorry, it didn't make sense. But, so yeah, I think we've clearly proven that Naruto's arsenal is much larger than Yusuke's, which doesn't mean Naruto's a better character. Again, like I said, just because you're stronger, have a better arsenal, you're smarter, you're faster, whatever, doesn't make you a better character. You can still like someone's character more than the other. I like Yusuke's character a lot more than I like Naruto's. I like Naruto, but I don't love Naruto. I love Yusuke. Yusuke's a great character. But, anywho, moving along. So, first off, somebody said, that's all Tail Beast power, not Naruto's natural abilities. Okay, about this. Naruto is the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, which means the Tail Beast is inside of him. When you become an official Jinchuriki and can call upon the power of the Beast at will, that is your power. That is yours. The Beast respects you to let you use its abilities. You have control, a consciousness over that Beast. It's not like back in the day where the Nine Tails would take over Naruto's body and mind. Now, Naruto and Kurama are buds, so when Naruto does Chakra Mode, Naruto does a Tail Beast Bomb, that's Naruto doing that. He's calling upon Kurama's power that he rightfully took, and, he beat Kurama to gain that respect from Kurama. So that is his power. Secondly, with the other Tail Beasts, talking about the other natures, Naruto is pretty much the Jinchuriki of all the Tail Beasts. He has ability chakra in each of them, so he can still call upon that chakra to use their abilities. People, one misconception I think people have is that Naruto can't use the Sage power anymore after the war. I don't know where that came from, but he definitely still can, and he definitely still does. And one way you can see that, and it may seem like a dumb reason, but it's very consistent enough to validate the point, is through the eyes. There's a lot of techniques in Naruto that change people's eyes, like the Sharingans, the Byakugans, Sage Mode, such and such, such and such. If you look at Naruto's eyes over the course of the series, you can tell his different abilities. So his Sage Mode, he's a Toad Sage. So he kind of gets the frog eyes with the little lines. That's how his eyes look when he's in his Sage Mode. That's how you know he's using Sage Chakra, Senjutsu. So when Naruto gets his Kurama mode, his eyes turn more like the fox, like narrowed. When Naruto uses his Kurama chakra cloak along with his Sage mode, we see both sets of eyes, like the narrow like fox eyes and the slit lines for the frog. So it kind of looks like a plus sign. They cross over with each other. But also, most Sage modes give the eyes kind of like a pigmentation of some certain color. Like Naruto's, I believe they turn like kind of like an orange, so like he gets like an orange pigmentation around his eyes. Kabuto, he was the dragon sage, even though they were fucking snakes. And he kind of gets more of like a purple pigmentation around his eyes. Hashirama's Sage mode, it was like this greenish, like blue kind of teal color. But that's consistent through everyone's Sage mode, even Jiraiya's in complete Sage mode. They get a pigmentation around their eyes, signifying that they've entered that Sage state, as well as their eyes even sometimes changing like form or shape, such as Naruto's. So that's how we know that. And that's consistent throughout the entire series. That never changes. Even when Naruto uses his Senjutsu and his Chakra Cloak, you still see that pigmentation, you still see the crossings of his eyes. Now, when Naruto does 6-path Senjutsu, it is clearly distinct from his regular Frog, Kumite, Sage mode Senjutsu form. When Naruto becomes a Sage of the 6 Paths, his eyes are different. I think it's to signify more of like, this is kind of like the perfect Sage mode, or like the Sage mode, kind of like the origins of it. Because instead of getting pigmentation around the eyes, you don't get pigmentation around the eyes. Your eyes kind of change shape, and that's it. There's no other alterations to you. When Naruto showed up after gaining that power from what's the Sage of the 6 Paths name? The first one, Hagoromo. So Naruto got that power from Hagoromo because he's the reincarnation of Ashura, one of Hagoromo's sons, and Sasuke is the reincarnation of Injira, Hagoromo's other son. So when Sasuke got that power, he was able to get the Rinnegan and the Sharingan. So he had like the Sharingan essentially. So the Rinne Sharingan. So he had these crazy eye powers. He could do the whole heavenly hand power and all that shit. His Susanoo was complete. Naruto got the Sage of the 6 Paths power, which is why you see him doing like these crazy chakra avatars, which is why you see him using Senjutsu, why his sensory abilities are drastically increased. It's because of that. They have no pigmentation around the eyes. People might call you stupid for that, but I'm like, look, check back throughout the series. That is very consistent. That never changes. That's always a consistency. When Naruto became the Sage of the 6 Paths, or pretty much got that power to access that level of a Sage mode, that's how he looked. And you can also match that up with Obito and Madara. They also technically were Sages of the 6 Paths. They had that form when they absorbed the Ten Tails. And they also had no pigmentation around their eyes. I think it represents that the Sage mode is perfect. I think that's what that's supposed to mean when there is no pigmentation. Or at least that's what I infer from Kishimoto doing the art that way. Again, that's headcanon for me personally. But people always note like, yeah, there's a Sage mode. I'm like, no, it's definitely still 6-path Sage mode. He also doesn't need to activate the Chakra Cloak to use 6-path Sage mode. Because when he first showed up on the battlefield after gaining that power, he was just base. He didn't have a Chakra Cloak, but you could see that he was in Sage mode because of his eyes with no pigment. And he managed to save Guy before he like fucking got Avengers Infinity Ward. Healed Kakashi's eye completely, and was able to blitz Madara without activating a Chakra Cloak. Then he activated a Chakra Cloak on top of that, which is why he looks the way he looks. So it's fucking insanity. And the thing with the truth-seeking orbs, people are like, well, there's no truth-seeking orbs. The truth-seeking orbs don't, like, regenerate. They don't come back. So they're gone. At least I've read that. I have to look it up again so I can, like, cite a source. So if I'm wrong and you correct me and you cite, like, oh, no, I'll take that L. But I'm pretty sure they don't regenerate. So once you use them and they, like, are gone, they're gone. Which is why Naruto doesn't have them anymore. But yeah, so there's that. So yeah, Naruto, first of all, when he activates 6 Paths mode, he kind of is the Jinchuriki. because that means you have the power of the 10 tails. So he has access to all the other tailed beasts and their chakra natures and their abilities, which is why he's able to use Boil Release and a Lava style Rasen Shuriken and a Magnet style Rasengan. And when he blitzes Kaguya with all the different chakra nature Rasen Shurikens and that fucking Shadow Clone Barrage Flourish thing, that's why he's able to do all of that. And so yes, the power is his. That's the end point I'm getting to. So to say that the power isn't his is bullshit. Because you have to earn that right, which he does earn. So bullshit. Then this guy who was talking about, I believe this is the dude, let me see, who said, no, yeah, Yusuke would stomp. Okay, and then he replies to the dude talking about Naruto's variety of skills. He says, Yusuke is so strong that Spirit Gun can clear large mountain ranges. Yeah, I mean, ranges? I don't know if it cleared mountain ranges. I could be wrong. I'll have to go back to where he did do a lot of damage to Spirit Gun. I'm not even gonna lie, but at best, that's like his best move is the Spirit Gun. Naruto has moves stronger than the Bijudama that we see. He can make a tailed beast Rasen Shuriken, essentially turning the tailed beast bomb into a Rasen Shuriken, with little spirally Rasengan tailed beast bomb spiraling around that Rasen Shuriken. We saw in his clash with Sasuke during their final fight that he was able to absorb leftover nature energy near the area and charge up 2 giant Rasengans. One that was kind of like, looked like a Tail Beast Rasen Shuriken. It's called Tail Beast Planetary Rasen Shuriken. Ridiculous moves, bro. And then another one that just looked like a big ass Rasen Shuriken. And through both of those, in clash with Sasuke's what they call Indra's Arrow. Indra's Arrow was created when Sasuke used Chibaku Tensei, Planetary Devastation, to seal up the Tailed Beast. Keep in mind that Naruto still has half of Kurama with him, which is how he's able to still fight with the Kurama Chakra and all that. And still had access to his 6-path Sage Mode, even though the other Tailed Beasts were taken. So another bit of proof that shows why would Naruto lose the Sage Mode. He sealed them up in Chibaku Tensei, then during that fight, absorbed their chakra to turn his Susanoo even more powerful into like this lightning kind of shaped aura that looked like it was wearing a Susanoo armor, and then shot this giant fucking death arrow that people call Indra's Arrow. And Naruto so Sasuke has the power of his Susanoo, his Sharingan, and 8.5 tailed beast, and he fires this attack. Naruto has half a fucking 9 tails and some nature energy, and he's able to match that attack to the point where they tie, and they're out of chakra, and these two niggas just start throwing hands at the end after that. So first of all, you're gonna tell me Yusuke's beating that? Bullshit. Secondly, like I said, that move is drastically more powerful than a Bijudama. Monstrously more powerful than a Bijudama. And then by the end of the series, he could repeatedly fire 20 plus of those in succession from a single standing position without running out of power. I'm going to call bullshit on that again, because first of all, when that happens, that scene is only anime. I'm not going to fault it for canon, non-canon, because I love the fact that the anime even shows that fight fully. But in the manga, that doesn't happen due to Takashi's health issues. The series is more rushed to a conclusion, so we don't even get that far in the Yomi versus Yusuke fight. It just skips it. So a lot of those fights shown in the anime for the Demon World tournament, like Hiei versus Makoto, and Kurama versus Shigure and stuff like that, are like mentioned but not shown. In the Yusuke versus Yomi fight, they only show like the very, very early beginning of it. They do not show any further than that. I think it was like a chapter and then it skips over. But even not counting that as canon, let's say fuck the canon thing, whatever. Let's say, yeah, we'll count that. Yes, he did fire a bunch in rapid succession. To say that he didn't lose power is bullshit, because by the end of the fight, both of them just ran up and started punching each other. So they knew the fight was coming to a close, and then Yusuke passed out and Yomi only stayed standing because he could hear his son calling out to him to, you know, to stay up, don't fall, like, don't lose, Dad, or else they would have tied. So to say Yusuke wasn't weakened from firing those blasts in succession, bullshit again, because everyone knew he was weakening from rapidly firing those. Also, that's the only time ever he has rapidly fired spirit guns in that quick succession. So please calm down. It was an extremely impressive feat. That was like peak Yusuke feat. That was awesome. But no, that doesn't. And then somebody also comments, like, it's the same dude that talked about Naruto's arsenal being, you know, good. He counters back. Totally agree with this. Naruto powered up like 20,000 people to be more than 3 times stronger than they were before, and then continued to spam massive jutsu and clones for literally 3 days. Yes, he did. The war lasted days. I don't know why people think the war lasted, the Fourth Great Ninja War lasted like an entire day. It lasted days. And like I mentioned before, Naruto had shadow clones going all around different battlefields around the world during the war to help fight. Then during like that main final battlefield, he gave everyone a chakra cloak, and it was like tens of thousands of people with them in that Shinobi Alliance for that final clash that was going on. With Obito and Madara and the Ten Tails and stuff like that. And he still had plenty of chakra to keep going. Now people are like, well, that's just because of the Nine Tails. Again, still his chakra. Secondly, Naruto already naturally has a very large chakra pool because he is an Uzumaki. I think people forget that. The Uzumaki are famous for having large chakra pools. It's the point of why Kushina was the Jinchuriki, because she had a lot of chakra to hold it in. I believe that was it. Don't quote me. I could be wrong in that. But the Uzumakis do indeed have large chakra pools. They're known for that. They're known for that, and they're known for their sealing jutsu techniques. So Naruto already had a naturally large chakra pool. We can see him being able to summon plenty of fucking clones, like a lot of clones in several different battles. Even in episode 1, we can see him summoning a shit ton of shadow clones on his first official use of the shadow clone jutsu without use of the Nine Tails. You know when the Nine Tails is being used, especially in older Naruto, because he didn't have control of it, so it would take over, and he would have that red chakra around him and that cloak. That's when you knew he was using it. With those shadow clones in that first episode, that was all him. That takes a lot of chakra. Some people are like, yeah, I can only probably do like 3 maybe at a time, and then I might be a little tired. So them insinuating that Naruto doesn't have a lot of staying power is garbage, and here's when we really get to it. Okay. And then somebody was like, Naruto's Rasen Shuriken and Biju bombs are just as, if not more destructive than Yusuke's Spirit Gun. I would argue that they're very much more destructive than Yusuke's Spirit Gun. Maybe the Rasen Gun and the Rasen Shuriken are on par. But like when you get to like Biju Damas and like his other chakra nature Rasen Shurikens and the planetary Rasen Shurikens and all that shit, way more powerful than anything Yusuke's ever done. And then somebody said, yes, and they drain a lot of chakra, and we have never seen him fire 20 plus of them in succession. It would be a never-ending bombardment. Clearly, my guy, you have never watched Naruto. Oh, shit. This is when I was like, dude, what are you talking about? They drain a lot of chakra. Yeah. But Naruto's able to... He said we've never seen them spam. It'd be a never-ending bombardment, this and that. Naruto's done this throughout the show several times. Naruto literally has a technique called Sage Art, Massive Rasengan Mega Barrage, where he literally activates his Sage Jutsu. This is during the fight where he was trying to beat Kurama and gain its respect so he could use his chakra, so he had to beat it down into submission in that fight. He used the Sage Mode, had a shit ton of clones, also with Sage Mode, and then they all hit him with massive Rasengans. It was like hundreds of clones hitting Kurama all at once. You're telling me he's never hit someone with a never-ending bombardment? Never hit somebody with 20 Rasengans in succession? Bro, what show are you watching? By the war, Naruto was able to... That nigga was spamming Rasen Shurikens. Chakra Cloak Naruto has a move called Rasen Rampage, where he summons extra arms made of chakra to fire Rasengans. So he's firing... I was like, bro... He's only probably watched, like, up to early Shippuden at the very, like, most. If he's saying Naruto's never fired 20 plus in succession, or Naruto's never fired a never-ending bombardment, I was like, you are flat out fucking wrong. That's like what Naruto's most known for. It's the reason why people are like, Naruto only knows Shadow Clones and Rasengans, because all he spams are Shadow Clones and Rasengans. So I was like, dude, you're fucking crazy. Ryzen Yusuke would lunch on Naruto? No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. That statement is whack. And then this person commented, like, yes, he has. As in, replying to the point of, like, yes, he has fired multiple Rasengans in succession. And no, he doesn't. As in, it doesn't drain a lot of his chakra. He has created hundreds of shadow clones and spammed giant Rasengans into Madara's deep forest emergence, and it barely put a dent in Naruto's chakra reserves. Yup. Yup, I remember that. And that was a clone. That was like a Naruto shadow clone when he did that. It was called like giant or massive Rasengan like line, and it was just like rows of shadow clone Narutos hitting Madara's deep forest, what's it called? Deep Forest Emergence? Deep Forest Emergence is a jutsu that literally creates a forest. So, as Madara was summoning this forest of roots and vines and trees that was going to tear through people, Naruto had a row of shadow clones, hit the forest with a massive Rasengan, then right behind it would be another row of shadow clones with massive Rasengans, and then right behind it was another row. So I'm just like, you clearly didn't watch the show, or you didn't watch far enough. It's like, because what you said Naruto can't do, he's literally done over and over and over again. So I fucking hate it. That statement was stupid. I'm talking about this one so long because this is the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. Yusuke ran faster than a speeding car for 7 days and didn't break a sweat, literally. Okay, first off, just to double check, because I was like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't 7 days. I'm pretty sure it was 4 days that Yusuke and the monks ran. And I looked it up. I looked up the scene in English and in Japanese, just in case maybe the dub changed it. Both the dub and the sub say that they ran for 4 days straight. Now, that's still crazy ridiculous of a feat. That, like, for an anime feat, that's still fucking ridiculous. Yusuke and them ran 4 days straight without stopping, and Yusuke didn't break a sweat. Cool. But it's 4 days, not 7 days, so I'm gonna have to fault you on that. Secondly, Yusuke ran faster than a speeding car. Okay, Naruto is at least faster than lightning. Naruto is much... There's plenty of fucking characters drastically faster than a fucking car in the Naruto world. You didn't even need to say ran faster than a car. Because first of all, when did it ever say they were running faster than a car? They didn't. I'm pretty sure they probably were, but that was such a pointless statement because that's such a weak feat in comparison to like shit Yusuke's already been done. I'm pretty sure Hiei was much faster than a speeding car too. What the fuck? Who cares? Like, Hiei early Yu Yu Hakusho too. Like, who the fuck cares? But so there's that. There's the fact that it was not 7 days. It wasn't a week. It was 4 days. And yes, Yusuke didn't break a sweat, but all they were doing was running. All they were doing was running. Not to say like, oh, that's probably fucking exhausting. Yeah, dude, 4 days straight. That's inhuman. That's fucking inhuman. That's a demon level kind of feat for the Yu Yu Hakusho world. As mentioned earlier from the other guy talking, Naruto was spamming shadow clones, spamming massive level jutsus, spamming his chakra cloak, giving Nine-Tails chakra to tens of thousands of soldiers on the battlefield during the war, spreading his shadow clones out to help on other battlefields of the war when he finally got there, those shadow clones summoning shadow clones to fight, etc., 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 for days, and still had chakra to spare. He didn't run out of chakra until he had his final fight with Sasuke, where both of them were exhausted. And then Sasuke charged up a shit ton of chakra from the other tailed beast, and Naruto was still able to clash and tie with him. So what the fuck? Who cares about you? Like, Yusuke running for 4 days straight is a crazy feat. I'm not trying to dumb down Yusuke. I love Yu Yu Hakusho to death. We all know this. I talk about it a lot. But that feat does not fucking compare to anything Naruto did in the war. It just doesn't. It does not measure up. It doesn't. Naruto was running around battlefields, had clones in different parts of the world, had those clones doing clones, was giving out his chakra, was spamming Rasengans left and right, massive explosions, taking damage, charging up again, doing such and such for days, bro, barely having time to rest and recover. Maybe like the only time you say, maybe the only time you can give it credit for is when he got the 6-pass mode, and maybe we could say like, oh, his chakra recovered. Still, prior to that, he was still fighting on the battlefield, doing all those crazy feats I was talking about for days. Like him giving chakra to the Shinobi Alliance, like the tens of thousand members of the Shinobi Alliance, was before he got 6-pass Sage mode. Him doing the whole Shadow Clone Giant Rasengan Barrage line thing against Madara's Deep Forest Emergence before 6-pass Sage mode. Like, he was doing these ridiculously busted, stupid feats before any of that. And that was before he had any time to rest or recover. He was like, there's a war going on? Bet. Not to mention, Naruto's sensory jutsu was so strong when he was training for his chakra mode, because they were trying to keep Naruto out of the war. Naruto and B, because they were the only two Jinchuriki left, and Madara and Obito needed them for the Ten Tails. So they were trying to keep them away from the war, so B was training Naruto to master his Jinchuriki and get the chakra cloak and all that shit. Naruto's sensory jutsu was so powerful, from the little isolated island they were on, he could sense the war going on around him from across the world. It's just... So, I think we've clearly proved that the statement that Yusuke beats Naruto is bullshit. It's you being a super fan. Now, last time, again, if you like Yusuke more than Naruto, perfectly fine. I agree with you 100%. I love Yusuke way more than Naruto. But you can't spout this false information. Naruto can't spam 20 Rasen Shurikens or Rasengans in succession, because he can. Naruto can't do all this to drain so much chakra, but he can, and still have plenty of chakra to reserve to spare, you know? Yusuke is on God tier. He's a demon king. First of all, no he's not. No he's not. No he's not. Yusuke is not the demon king. Yusuke forfeited that title as soon as he opened up the Demon World Tournament. And he only became the Demon King because Ryzen died of starvation. Self-starvation. Yusuke never beat Ryzen. He never even fought Ryzen at his peak. So, and I think at that point, Yusuke wasn't strong enough to fight them. Kurama was like, dude, if you start a war with Yomi, you're gonna get fucked up. Yomi was definitely stronger than Yusuke. So he wasn't on the level of one of the Demon Kings. He inherited that throne for all of like a day because he immediately relinquished it. He said, I'm gonna declare a Demon World Tournament. Everyone across the Demon World can enter. Winner of the tournament becomes King of Demon World. And everyone agreed to it just because of Yusuke's, crazy personality. Like, it's infectious how everyone was so on board with it. Even Yomi was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm only gonna represent myself. So Yusuke was not a Demon King. And just because he technically was king of Raizen's territory for maybe like a day, if you want to count that, he was not on Raizen's level. Not even close at that point. He was a very strong S-class demon, but he couldn't beat Raizen. There's no fucking way. If he couldn't beat Yomi or Makoto at that point, he was not beating Raizen. I'm pretty sure in terms of just raw power, Raizen at his peak was by far the strongest of the three Demon Kings. He was called the Battle God Toshin Raizen. Like, so come on now. So that was false. And then dude, you know, with the facts with Naruto here, God bless you, replied to that, give me any proof or reasoning for that. Naruto is light speed, plus he can heal off any damage Mazaku Yusuke could dish out. I mean, yeah, he could. I guess so. I can agree with that. And before you downplay Naruto, remember he is monstrously strong in base Sage mode, not even including 6-pass and KCM2. True, 100% true. Frog sparring. I feel like Naruto Sage mode, maybe base Chakra Cold, beats Yusuke 3 Kings. Oh god, yeah. Okay, so being a Demon King is about as impressive as Emperor Pilaf being an Emperor by comparison. I wouldn't say that. Because Yomi and Makuro were Demon Kings. But they earned their power, just like how Raizen earned his power to become a Demon King. Like I said, Yusuke, if you want to technically count it, he was Demon King for a day. And that's only because Raizen passed. It's not because Yusuke beat Raizen and took the throne. Naruto is by no small margin stronger than any living being in his verse. Sasuke aside, and they're basically equals. And then, you know, the stuff going on with Boruto, but we don't really talk about that too much. I think the manga is like... I hear the manga of Boruto slaps hard as shit, and that the anime is not good. So I'll have to see. I only read like the first 2 chapters of the manga, and I watched like the first 3 episodes of the anime. I'll have to check that out. Then somebody said, if that were true, any demon could become king, and you have to be powerful enough to be considered such. There were S-class demons who didn't even compare in power. And somebody said, Yusuke isn't considered a demon king though, and he won the tournament. So that's also true. And like I said, again, you're equating being a demon king to being powerful, which is true in most cases except for Yusuke, because Yusuke inherited his throne. He did not gain it. I don't know what goes on in people's heads. Oh, Raizen died and Yusuke was king for that day now, so Yusuke must be as strong as Raizen. No, that didn't happen. Like, he wasn't ready. So, and that was the end of that thread. So I was just like really shocked at the amount of like how much of a fanboy people can be. And I just wanted to talk about that and break that discussion down because the argument was trash. So I had to let y'all know about that, and that's what set me off today, and that's why I was like, you know what? I guess I'm talking about this today. So I'm gonna end it there. That's pretty much it for all the little rants I have. I have more to talk about, but I think those 3 main points kind of stand on their own. And it's crazy because I made a tier list of Yu Yu Hakusho characters, and it was like every Yu Yu Hakusho character. And I was ranking them by their character, not by like strength. And I made a tier list and I posted it. Overwhelmingly positive response. I was kind of shocked by it just because of the amount of crazy negativity that comes from that group. But it's weird that you can have like discussions like that or posts like that and it's all good. And then when you, at the same time, you have these wild posts of just like false information or just like really like misinformed opinions. So that's where I stand with the group now. Am I gonna leave the group? No, because there's a lot of people in the group that I do enjoy like talking to. I do enjoy the posts. The memes are always funny, but it's just those posts that I'm just like, dude, do you watch the show? Or, and I hate doing that because I feel like an elitist. Like I feel like I've lived long enough to see myself become the villain in this situation. But I don't like false information in general because then it leads to like people being very like misinformed and then that spreads, and then all of a sudden a rumor or some kind of like headcanon idea becomes a real thing, which is what happened with Dragon Ball, especially in the early days when we didn't have good translations of it. So there's a lot of false information that still goes around to this day with Dragon Ball. So you, Hakusho, shouldn't have to suffer the same fate. But that's it for that. There is one other thing I wanted to talk about, but I think I'll do it like another time. Next week, instead, we'll be doing the whole like update episode, talking about what I'm planning to do when we roll out season 3 of episodes and other stuff I'm planning to do. I'm just waiting for a few things to get shipped. You know, due to the whole corona outbreak, some things take longer to get shipped than normal. So I'm still waiting for that stuff to come in. Hopefully it should come in within like the next week. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm thinking. That's what it says, at least. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, next week I'll do announcements. I was going to do them this week, but all this happened, so I wanted to talk about it. Other than that, that's about it. Retrospective will still be happening next week too. We'll do episode 20. And that's about it. Thank you guys for showing up. If you did listen and listen all the way to the end, I try not to do episodes over an hour and a half. This one ended up being 2 hours, but it is what it is. It's not like it hasn't been not like before with those 2.5 hour ones. So thanks for sticking through the whole thing, and I will catch you guys next week. Later.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
O's mad, 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 O's mad. I pull up in that old jet, hold fast.